All right, a very good morning to you folks and welcome to This Morning. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. It's December 6 in the Gregorian calendar. It tells us Christmas is 19 days away, but not many people know it's Christmas, regardless of the buntings and decorations you see around the university community in this country. So let's go. This morning, we're looking at the federal government and ASUU imbroglio that won't go away. You know, the season of anomie tarries in my country and yours, and university teachers ride the storm gleefully, I dare say, and without let. The current strike action called by the Professor Biodun Ogoyemi-led ASUU is 4 weeks old this morning. For the records, between 1999 and today, ASUU had gone on strike no less than 15 times and cumulatively for 38 months. These irritable strikes, which have achieved very little or nothing, approximate to 3 unbroken years of forcibly keeping students at home, thereby making them easy pickings for unscrupulous politicians and common felons. There are many vexed issues that beg for common sense and pragmatism. So is it about who blinks first or a much-needed middle ground to be steered? We'll find out all that this morning. Let's meet and greet my guests. Dr. Dele Ashiru is a member of ASUU, and for that matter, by definition, is chairman Unilag chapter of ASUU. I greet you. Welcome.
Thank you very much for this invitation.
Okay then. Alessa Wilcox is not an ASUU member, but was at school in the university. He's a graduate, so he wants to look back at the many years we are talking about. He's a chartered accountant and a public affairs analyst. Alessa, I greet you.
Thank you very much.
It's your birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so very much for those best wishes.
You send the bills to us at the end of the...
No, TVC and the entire public will do
come
that.
on.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, Doc, so Dr. Ashiru, ASUU, the president of ASUU says a strike action is the only way out. Is that your stance?
Well, in a country like Nigeria, where you have a political class that is not only irresponsible, but also does not understand the pivotal role of education in the development of any society, you cannot but have the kind of situation that we have at the moment. For those who think that strike is not an option, both within and outside the ivory towers, we have often placed that challenge before this category of people. That, okay, if you think that strike is not an option or should not be the option, give us suggestions. Let me say that as academics in developing countries like Nigeria, strike is only a last resort. And most times when we go on strike, it is with great pains that we do so. From the historical rendition that you gave, it's obvious that, our union have been in and out of strike. Some have said, well, if you want to go on strike totally and completely. But there's another school of thought who says that, look, when you go to negotiate, you should trust, the other party reasonably enough to concede, told the person to do what is right.
Or by extension, meet somewhere in the middle.
Yes, you see, unfortunately, the issues that are in contention are somewhat settled in agreements, in memorandum of understandings, when we both got tired of memorandum of understanding. For the first time, we moved in 2017 to memorandum of action. I will do this within this timeline. I will do this within this timeline. Between 2017 and today, none of the items on the memorandum of action.
There must be a sore point. Where did the palaver come from?
Well, the palaver is historical, as you have pointed out.
Yeah, when it comes, you said between 2017 and now, you get to a point where you expect reasonableness to take over.
Yeah.
So what breaks at that point?
Because unreasonableness continues on the path of the other party.
All right, let Alistair open his account here.
Yeah, it's rather sad for me on my birthday to be discussing such contentious issues. I thought I would have had a better celebration to have made, but national issues are very, very important. They take back, your personal interest take backseat when national interest comes to play at this point. I sympathize with ASUU. I haven't gone through the university system, maybe because some of us are not gifted to the academia. That's why we didn't continue in that area. I sympathize with ASUU, really, on the so-called plight that they all faced. But ASUU is not divorced from...
To use so-called?
Well, because ASUU is not divorced from the entire society. I think maybe the doctor should be able to tell us what really are the issues of this strike.
We will get to that.
And at this time.
At this time?
Yes, at this strike and at this time. I remember the last protracted strike of 2013. Am I right? 2013 or thereabout?
Yeah.
That took
I have the catalog.
That took over 7 months,
Yeah.
6 months. Yes, under the previous administration, took over 6 months. The government never talked to them, never bothered until it got to a point when elections was beginning to want to creep in, and everybody felt, oh, okay, let's talk to these people, these folks, and see. And we thought we've seen the last of it all. But
so to you, at that point, it's a waiting game.
Yes, it was a waiting game because really, sometimes, and that's why I asked the question, why at this time? Because if 2017 there was an agreement done, according to my brother, an plan of action done, and up till throughout 2007, up till maybe half of this year, there was no action. Then nothing was also done, no sensitization of the public. We don't even know, the public don't even know. I sympathize with them, but sincerely speaking, I cannot sympathize on a vacuum if I don't know the issues. I have my own personal grudge against the academia in this country because I know that there are much more that could have been done if the academia in this country were proactive, are focused, are dedicated, and are nationalistic in their approach to things. There are a lot that could have been done. But waiting till this time when maybe politics is on the air, when elections is around the corner, and then ASUU is going on strike, I think it will split to a large extent the sympathy as to the proprietorness and the intention of ASUU at this point in time.
Okay. You know, the sage had said, it is not what you look at, but what you see. so yeah, you are looking at it, but this man is seeing something.
No, he's at the thick of thing. I'm looking at it from the outside. But,
okay.
but as an impartial observer, I would consider all sides.
Judge.
No, I'm not a judge yet.
Okay.
I'll consider all sides.
Let me tear the bag so we look at some of the issues. Yeah. Pay of a fraction of staff entitlement. Dr. Ashiru?
Well, thank you. Before we open the bag,
okay,
I'd like to respond to two points that my brother and colleague made here. The first is the proprieteness of the strike and why now?
Or the appropriateness of the strike and why at this time?
Thank you. In talking about the propriety of the strike, it is not true that between 2017 and today, we have not done anything. You recall, and this leads me to the issues in contention. One, there is the question of funding.
No, but I said
for funding for the revitalization of decaying infrastructures in the universities.
You tell my list, you know.
In 2012, when ASUU gave its demands, government was in doubt as to the level of decay in public universities in Nigeria. And then on its own, set up a federal government, ASUU, NUC, broad-based team to go to respective universities to do what is called the needs assessment of Nigerian public universities. That document
stop taking.
Is on the net for anybody who cares to take a look. And you will see the gory state with which the universities are in Nigeria.
What came out of that?
On account of that, government freely came to the conclusion that we needed 1.3 trillion to be released to the universities, all universities.
Over time.
Over a 5-year period.
Yeah.
It was the 16-hour meeting between our union and President Goodluck Jonathan in 2013 that led to the release of the one and only 200 billion out of 1.3 trillion between 2013 and today.
To cover federal and state universities?
Federal and state universities. Because we talk about the same university system in Nigeria.
Okay.
That distinction between federal and state is unknown to us, because a degree in a state university with a recognized senate is same with that of a university, whether federal or whatever. So that money, only 200 billion has been released. For the welfare that you talked about of students, of lecturers, government released 30 billion in 2013 and another 23 billion in 2017 to cover arrears of earned academic allowances. Now,
you got yours?
I got.
Okay.
Now, government then said, look, we feel that this money should be enough. Therefore, if you are saying it's not enough, we will have to do what they call a forensic audit. Between 2013, 2017, and date, the report of the forensic audit was only released last week. Now, coming back to the timing, there was no election last year when we embarked on a strike action to press home our demand. And we called off the strike because we thought that this government had changed strategy from what we used to have in the past. And what was the strategy that changed? The Minister of Education, you will recall, came out in 2017 to say that, look, government is wrong. ASUU is right in its demands because it was government that failed to implement.
Keep its side of the bargain. Yeah.
And for that reason, we thought that, look, if we have a minister who will be courageous enough to say this.
Alessa, we can make this a dialogue.
Yeah, because I think because time is tight, really. I wanted us to have a grasp of one of the issues. But the truth of the matter is, and let me respond quickly. The issue is this. Yes, everybody deserves what he legitimately deserves. He talked about earned allowance or no earned allowance. Or look, the universities is part of the budgetary system of this country. And every year, there is money budgeted to the universities for both recurrent and capital expenditures. Before now, before the advent of TSA, the universities virtually run riot with their internal IGR. I don't know how it is now.
You want to confirm that?
No,
hold on. So we make it a dialogue.
Yes. Before
when you drop it, yes. Is it true? Because one of the issues in contention is that of the TSA.
Yes.
Well, you see, the TSA really is not an issue in contention.
So why do I have it here?
In the ongoing strike. I don't know why you have it.
No, but it was there, sir.
It was an issue.
It was an issue last year.
Until when?
Yesterday, last year when they had the discussion, they brought that issue up that they should be exempted from TSA.
No, let's hear from him. It was
an issue until last year. When TSA was introduced, there was a lot of misconception about TSA.
From the university community?
From Nigerians generally. such that...
That's that's your perspective.
No, but that's what actually happened.
Go on.
So the idea then was that you're going to put all money in a single treasury account. It will be difficult for you to withdraw and all that. The ASUU's argument concerning TSA is that it is not all the money in the university system that is IGR.
That is internally
generated revenue. You have endowments, you have, grants, you have several other such
which you
cannot put into a government treasury single account.
Okay.
Because once you do that, you no longer can run your endowments.
All right, let's hear what...
You see, that is where insincerity comes into play. And that is one of the grants I had against the universities. They make a lot of noise and hide a lot of things.
The ASUU.
Well, let me say the university system. It's not only ASUU. Because ASUU has...
I think my colleague should
choose
his words.
No, I will. I'm very conscious that I'm very conscious that I'm on national television.
Insincere.
I'm very conscious that I'm very conscious that I'm on national television.
And that's not also correct.
No, you have a right to repeat that, sir.
Because
I need
hold it.
Peter, but
please,
we have to choose our words.
At the television is a parent, a teacher like you, a student, and the man on the street.
Yeah.
So whatever we say here is for their benefit. Okay, so?
Well, if my word was offensive, I would draw it.
No, thank you.
But I want to be very, very clear that the university system is one of the most rotten institutions we run in this country.
That is also not correct.
Because I have my fact, and can I make my point?
Please, go ahead.
Look, they make so much noise about funding and hide so much resources about what they generate. Now, he talks about endowments, grants, and all whatnot. Citizen Jones, when has ASUU or university system come and talk about the grant that they receive and what project they do with those grants? That's not that's not the issue here.
It's their business.
No, it's not their business because it's not a business because we are talking about taxpayers' money here.
Grants
I'm coming, taxpayers' money that is used to fund these universities.
Grants and endowments.
I'm coming.
And I'm surprised
Dr. Shiri,
yes,
grants will come to your school.
Yes.
It is in the interest of the community around
students,
the school and the public at large to know X amount came to this university via this grant or the other grant.
It is used for this and this and this.
Be of interest.
I think that I need to do some clarification here.
Yeah.
Now, ASUU does not receive money from government. Universities authorities do.
Yeah.
Now, if you receive a grant, certainly a grant is often tied to a particular project or a particular research.
At a given institution.
Go to all Nigerian universities, you will see what these grants have been used for. That's one. Number two are endowments. Endowments are, what individuals or corporate organizations feel that they can assist research and development in universities and also encourage scholarship in those universities. And therefore, when they bring this money, when they bring this money, there are accounting processes and procedures. Please let me come.
Okay.
Let me come. Now, the corruption that people hype in the university system.
No, tell me there's none.
I won't say that.
Okay.
Because in cases that we have reported.
Dr. Shiru, we are joined by your colleague, but this time of LASU, Lagos State University. Dr. Adebukola Adedoyin is online. I greet you, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Doc, how do you do?
You're fine.
Yeah, you've been viewing in.
Hello?
Yeah, you are on, sir.
Yeah, I've been listening to the arguments, pros and cons, and I'm really amazed. And I felt I could just say one or two things. Am I there?
Go on, you are on.
Fine. Yeah, let me correct one impression. Grant is never given to any university to be used as running costs.
No.
Or money to be used to pay salary.
Nobody says that.
Or money to be spent on just any frivolity.
Nobody says that.
When grant is given, it is attached to a particular project.
Yeah, we said so. Yeah.
And the giver, of course, is going to monitor the spending of the money. So accountability is there. Second, is also in slide. It is not the money given to the university to be spent on anything. When you endow something, the money is for that particular thing. The real issue, why the strike is on. Look, anybody may think anything, but let us be sincere with ourselves. If two parties went into an agreement and on the basis of mutual trust, they appended their signature, and at the end, one reneged, is the other party supposed to fold his arms? Hello?
Go ahead.
Now, the issue is this. Our universities are comatose. I teach at LASUU. I know what we have gone through in the last 10 years, and I know what is happening now. If the visitor of the university, I'm talking about LASUU now, believes that the university belongs to them, and they make political statements as LASUU is our university, the onus is of them to fund the institution. Even if the university is able to generate a little money, that should not be the only thing that will be used for the development of the institution. It is not like that anywhere in the world. So let us get this thing right. University needs money. And if we do not act now to salvage our university, very soon it will just be like our secondary school and primary school.
Yeah, Dr. Adedoyin, if I may interject here. I'm not talking about pre-1999. Between 1999 and this morning, we have had, as I said, no less than 15 strike actions. And so after 15 strike actions, we are still not seeing any light at the end of the tunnel. What are we talking about?
What are we talking about? It is because of the insincerity of the federal government that had a plan of action to help in revitalizing the university, and they refused to do what they're supposed to do. So what line of action are we looking for?
Okay.
If we have needs assessment that talks about the rustiness in our university system and make recommendation to the federal government or the government of the nation as to what to do to revamp this incident, and they do nothing about it, are we, as workers of the university, supposed to fold our hands and allow these things to degenerate onto a level where there will be no universities again?
Dr. Adedoyin, it's fruitless to begin to go around in circles. I mean, if it is one strike after another, and after another, currently the current strike is in its 4th week, approaching the 5th week.
Okay.
Isn't there any other thing of, there are more than 9 ways of killing a cat?
That's true.
Yeah, so.
You see, the question is this. When ASUU goes on strike, people talk about strike, but they will have forgotten that before the strike began, many other things were done underground. Meetings and meetings, pressure groups, trying to persuade the government to do the very right thing. Strike has always been the last option. In actual fact, I am putting in support of ASUU this time around. They should not call off this strike until everything that is needed to be done is actually done.
Okay.
Because before, once they
here?
get promissory notes to the federal government, and on the basis of trust, they suspend the strike. Before you know what is happening, they renege and we are back to square one.
All right, Dr.
So if the strike will last for 2 years, let it last for 2 years. Let us get things done now and now. That's my position.
Okay. Before we let you go, Dr. Adedoyin, so if this strike lasts the distance, that's in the equation of ASUU, and you call it off, there's a truce. You go to bed until the next time around, you go on another strike. But I'm saying something should come in between.
Like what, sir?
You know, I just said something.
I know.
Hello?
You're on.
You know, I said something. ASUU strike has always been suspended when they get federal government talking and they promise. And that is what I said this time around. Do not take any promissory notes. Let the strike be on until every issue is addressed.
All right.
Let me be honest with you. I don't like strike. Nobody does. But when you see the decadence in the university system, you go to laboratory without anything to perform any experiment.
Which did not start.
No,
hold on, Alistair. Dr. Adedoyin, the rot never started day before yesterday.
No, it's always been there. ASUU did not start this agitation yesterday.
Okay, okay.
And ASUU is not asking for the rot to be completely removed now. If you look at the memorandum of understanding signed the last time, these issues were supposed to be taken care of over a period of time. ASUU didn't say federal government bring 5 trillion naira now. That's not the position of ASUU.
Okay.
Let's get your commitment. Okay, if you're going to give money in phases every year to give this for this number of years, let's monitor it and see how the rottenness can be taken care of. That is the position of ASUU. But you see, all the people have their children outside the country.
It's not true.
Just like they will go for slight headache, they go to America, Europe for treatment. They won't go to Nigerian
Dr. Adedoyin,
we have to fight and ensure that our university is not destroyed.
All right.
Just like the primary school and secondary school system has been destroyed in Nigeria.
Dr. Adedoyin, and your child, any of them in university in the country?
What do you say?
Any of your children at university in the country?
No.
Yes, of course, yes. None of my children is outside the country schooling.
Okay. Maybe a private, please leave me,
None of my children is in any private university.
Okay.
As a matter of policy,
right.
I want my children to attend public school.
All right. I cannot but thank you for your time, you know.
You're welcome,
thank you very, very kindly.
Thank you so much.
Alistair,
I was really reaching to wedding. You know, before the last argument started, I was talking about the running riots of the universities with their IGR. And you see, every penny counts in an economy, in an economy like Nigeria, in a country that is struggling to meet the compelling needs of the entire society. Now, the moment ASUU drops, NASU will start.
This current one.
I mean, the moment this one is off the table, NASU will tell you they need parity or something. Then before you know, NMA will say, oh, they need this, they need that.
Like a ripple action.
And then it ripple action. Now, ASUU, that is the intellectual brain house of the country, the universities.
Oh, yeah.
That's the intellectual brain house of the country. And if that brain house will not live to its calling in terms of probity, in terms of accountability, let me make my point, President. Yeah. In terms of probity and accountability, in terms of supportive of the system. Now, what am I saying? When budgets are to be prepared, Ministry of Education prepares the budget. NUC prepares all the university prepare their budgets and send to NUC. NUC defends it and they all accumulate into a education budget for the country. What input at what point did ASUU make input through their universities? Because you don't just bring out money from a system.
All right, quite a lot to
you don't bring out money from a system.
We must take this break. Come on,
gentlemen,
we must take this break. We'll return. The federal government, ASUU Imbroglio, it has refused to go away. You and I are interested. Let's take this break and come back. All right, folks, welcome back. The federal government, ASUU Imbroglio, that won't go away. I have my two guests, Dr. Dele Ashiru, Chairman, ASUU Unilag, and of course, Lester Wilcox, Chartered Accountant, Public Affairs Analyst. Dr. Ashiru, it's a two-way street. Yep. We listened to Dr. Adedoyin religiously. To him, it takes two to tango. You have reached this agreement. you think government should not be circumspect in releasing funds to universities, considering that corruption cases abound there too?
Well, you see, thank you very much. It would be uncharitable and playing the ostrich to say that the universities, just like any sector in the Nigerian society, is corruption-free. But I say this without any fear of contradistinction, that our union has been at the vanguard of holding university administrators accountable. Only recently, in the University of Ilorin, the branch of our union there chronicled the corruption cases replete in that university, published in a national newspaper, submitted to the relevant anti-corruption agencies in this country. Rather than call the authorities in the University of Ilorin to order, our members who blew the whistle were dismissed from the university. Only last week, the National Industrial Court, sitting in Akure, declared that action null and void and of no consequence whatsoever. In LASU, under Obafunwa, it was our union that was on the vanguard of holding university administrators accountable. So to accuse ASUU,
not ASUU, please,
okay.
please.
So
the university system.
Yes, the university system is just like any other sector in the Nigerian society. And very unfortunately, corruption has become entrenched in the university system because there is the active connivance between university administrators and so-called regulatory agencies who are supposed to really check the excesses of these administrators.
ASUU is corruption-free?
Well, ASUU, nobody can accuse ASUU of corruption. None.
No, if it is corruption-free, I'm quoting you.
ASUU audits its account annually, submits to the Registrar of Trade Union. So if you have any queries about ASUU's account, go to the relevant trade union agencies and find out.
Take us back to LASU.
I'm talking about the unit. You see, a distinction must be made between ASUU as a union and the university as it is being
an institution
administered by appointees of government. Now, when ASUU blows whistle, those who are supposed to act refuse to act.
You don't think there's any recorded case of fraud at the ASUU chapter?
There is none.
Okay.
There is none.
Lester?
Citizen.
What happened to the chairman and the vice chairman of ASUU in that university?
That's a very good question.
Thank you. Give me a good answer.
The chairman of ASUU LASU and the vice chair were accused of allegations bordering on corruption based on trumped-up charges.
Were accused of corruption.
Wait, you see, you can be accused.
No, not say based on, we are accused of corruption.
Yeah, they were accused. And anybody can, particularly if you stand in the way of those who wants to have their way at all costs.
Okay.
And the case at the moment is being challenged in court. And I am confident that the court will do what is right.
If it is in court, leave it there. Okay. But this is not, the idea was just to remind you that nobody, B-O-D-Y, as a group, ASUU or whatever, NLC, is above suspicion.
Well, you have used the right word, suspicion.
You can't be above it.
Just as there was suspicion of ASUU in University of Ilorin. So if my brother is saying the one in LASU that you've mentioned that is suspicion, I'm not standing for anybody.
Let it remain that it's in court.
So the one in Ilorin, as published by ASUU, is also suspicion. Because you see, the fact is, we must come. Look, he must come with clean hands. And I'm not here to pander or defend anybody. I sympathize with ASUU. I I know where the university lecturers has come from. When I was in university, I told my lecturer the only course I failed, I told him I'm going to earn more than you the moment I leave this university, and I earned more than him. Before.
Does he know this?
No, he knew. I came back and told him. Because over time, and I wasn't working in NNPC or anything, just a normal company. So I know where they have come from. I know when the university system was filled with men and women of honor, responsibility, and integrity. I know all that.
Dr. Ashiru will recall that last Unilag,
yes,
because I know this, I
yes,
was there, and foreign exchange. Foreign students were
good, yes,
there.
yes, I know when it was.
But
I know when
also,
University of Port Harcourt, we had a lot of students from Cameroon, from Gabon.
Oh, yeah.
I was student union leader in University of Port Harcourt when I was there. I knew how long it took. He took Professor Kuki to build a Freeman Hall. Nobody went on strike. He knew how funds were coming. And one of the best edifices in Nigeria invested in the Freeman Hall, University of Port Harcourt.
I know how long it took. They say memory is very unkind.
Yes, I know how long it took to build it.
Memory is very unkind to an old man. But let me look at.
I want to address the issue of corruption in the universities.
But let's say do so in passing.
Okay.
You know.
No. Because you see, if my brother is saying that ASUU is free, I knew the fight in University of Abuja between the former Vice Chancellor and ASUU, University of Abuja. And when the man came up publicly, I can't remember his name now, University of Abuja, came up and said, ASUU's problem with him is sharing formula.
Okay.
That is documented.
All right.
And today, why is University of Ilorin the most peaceful university in Nigeria? It's because the two parties have come, they are not on strike, have come to realize the fact that whatever that can be achieved.
They have found a middle ground.
They have found a middle ground. They have come to pass.
It's a bad example.
It is the best example of a university.
It's a bad example of
university in Nigeria.
No. University of Ilorin is a bad example.
The best example of university in Nigeria. University of Ilorin.
A best example of what? A best example of what?
I say a bad example
of what?
Of university system in Nigeria. The man who is parading himself as the ASUU chair in Ilorin.
Parade?
Yes. Dr. Abdurrahim has just...
He's watching.
Yeah, of course. If you read the Nation newspaper of about 2 months ago, I can't remember the date, a case of corruption, plagiarism, was clearly established against him.
All right.
And
it is in court.
And it's not in court.
Okay.
The University of Ilorin authorities
you can't be the judge
closing.
here.
I am just informing you.
Yeah.
The University of Ilorin authorities are closing their eyes to glaring cases of plagiarism in a university. And you give that as an example of university.
Please, let me be in charge.
No!
This
is a fact.
Let me be in charge.
And we can't argue against facts.
Dr. Ashiru, let me be in charge here.
Opinion
please, this is not...
But facts are sacred.
I'm not the federal government. We are a TV station.
No, but people should devote facts.
Be orderly.
Be orderly, please. Clearly.
You want us to close the show? We can close it here.
If we will not rely on facts.
No, but don't raise your voice. We can get the matters across. George is here. He's watching, maybe impatiently. Yeah, welcome, sir.
Good morning, Citizen Jones, and to the panelists as well.
Yep.
Citizen, it is worrisome that the name ASUU has become synonymous with strike. I listened to your comments before the show began, that a total period of over 3 years has been spent on strikes. As people who are our teachers, one would have expected that it is enough for them to understand that that strategy is in the wrong direction. I do not know if ASUU has ever sat down to, examine the consequences of this strike. You know that today, the rate of drug abuse among youth, this strike is one of the things responsible for it. When students are out of school for months and they have nothing to do, they get mixed up with bad groups, and these things do happen. And the lecturer, the dean at the dawn there said President Jonathan gave them 200 billion. If we have, for example, 80 universities in Nigeria, that 200 billion will give almost 3 billion to one university. citizen, 3 billion is a lot of money.
I'm telling you.
Can he please tell us what this
I'm telling you.
200 billion has been used for?
Okay.
Between the time the money was given to them and now, they are not talking about accountability. Each
Yeah.
time Alex,
He talked about a
Alex
further,
raises the
George,
need for
George, he talked,
accountability, the lecturers seem to get annoyed.
Yeah.
You cannot ask us to give you money and you are not ready to tell us what to do with the money. If a grant is given to a university,
all right.
the university does not belong to the lecturers or the individuals. It is part of your receipts, and you owe it a responsibility to the people who own that university to account to them what you did with the grant. Grant is not personal.
Thank you, Brother George. Thank you very kindly.
Citizen, please, let me say this.
Hold on. We push our facts across peacefully. Dr. Ashiru, if you make this a federal government ASUU matter, we'll get nowhere. Because like George and millions of him around the world watching us want to get to the root of the matter. So accountability, asking that you be accountable cannot be out of place. Yeah.
Yes, because you see, and I am hinging on this account because that is where my point is. And George has made the issue very, very clear. 3 billion, assume, let's say 2. I don't know the level of decay that is being talked about.
And in this case, the sharing formula
might be different based on needs and accountability. I just told that you took Professor SGS Cookie and University of Authority, University of Port Harcourt, years to build a Freeman Hall. A major hall that they call a Freeman Hall, but that they've started before I joined university. It was there every year. How did they do it? Ingenuity. Through consultancy and all whatnot. The universities, I said they ran riot with their IGR because nobody knew what they were receiving. They had programs that were not declared.
Let me pause you.
And the money, nobody knows where it goes to.
Alesta,
and every day we hear they're not funding. I'm sorry.
You are behaving like an aluta man. I was Aliu is waiting patiently in Niger State. I greet you, sir.
Yes.
Welcome.
Good morning, everyone.
Yep.
Please, I want to contribute, but not looking at it from the ASUU and the federal government back and forth that they are doing. The truth of the matter is that so long as the children of those people that they call themselves the elite of this very country are studying outside the country, there is no way Nigerian education system is going to be fixed. That's one. Two, I challenge each and every one of those very ASUU members. I look at them. Sometimes I see them in television doing their things with the federal government. Look at their age. And look at the age of the people in federal government. I challenge each and every one of them to present the receipt that his father paid for the school that he attended in Nigeria. Nigeria give them free education, give them good education, give them everything. But this same set of people, being them in the government, whether they are ASUU, all of them now are conniving, destroying our own term. Please, for God's sake.
Right.
If they have received these very quality blessings from this very country, why are they sabotaging this very new generation and the generations to come?
All right.
If you look at what is going on, the truth of the matter is that ASUU have their interest and the federal government have their own interest too. But who is suffering? Nigerians, for God's sake.
Thank you,
The
Ali.
truth of the matter, so long as the child of Buhari will not go to the same university with the child of a poor man in Ogun State going to the same university, our universities will not be fixed. They have destroyed the primary schools already. They have destroyed the secondary school already. And those people saying that they are fighting that the university should not be destroyed, ask them where is the receipt of their school fee.
Thank you. We stop you there. We thought
so
we
this
stop
back and forth is
Thank
not
you,
the
Ali.
issue.
Thank you.
People
Thank you.
have their interest with
Well, thank you very kindly. Thank you. We don't need. I don't think we want to dwell on that. Let me go to another aspect of this discussion. Alessa, I want you to address this. In 2017, only 7.4% of the national budget was allocated to education. In 2018, it's 7%, and the figure is 605.8 billion naira to universities in Nigeria. And out of the amount, 435.1 billion for recurrent and 61.73 billion for capital. Yes. Adequate?
No, it can never be adequate, citizen. Most times, again, when we look at our budget and percentages, we look at federal government. We don't look at what the state's budget for education still.
Okay.
So if we add that,
which is like matching grants.
Yes, no, it's not like matching grants because the states also run education.
Okay.
Federal run education, local government runs. But most times when we want to make analysis, and I've always corrected this, I've said anywhere I go to, we always take the federal budget. Now, let's even take the federal budget. There are compelling needs in the country. It can never be adequate. This is a country, I mean, sometimes I will come and tell you now that the roads are bad. They need to be built. I also will come and tell you that the electricity needs to be fixed. And also will come and tell you, oh, how sports must be promoted. So government at every point in time have compelling needs. And therefore, that's why I say ASUU is the soul, intellectual soul of the nation, and should know better in making certain demands at a certain time and when it should be progressive. Now, let me just take this. 400 and something billion on recurrent. That's quite huge as compared to capital. Yes, we must pay them well, which has always been the fight. They must be comfortably this thing, and they must be also able to contribute.
Yeah, innovative.
Contribute. Now, the capital expenditures that you have talked about,
yeah.
There are things for construction, there are things for electricity, there are things for generation power and all whatnot. How many resources within the university system?
I know that Dr. Ashiru...
How many resources within the university system is being utilized on top of these things?
I know that Dr. Ashiru will recall with candor that Unilag produced bottled water, right? Wrong? Is the water still there? But that's
and
by
bread,
the way.
and bread.
Sorry, we have a caller here.
Okay.
Yakub is in Dokpemu here. Welcome, Yakub.
Yeah, good morning, citizen.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
And then good morning to Alice and the other gentleman.
Dr. Ashiru.
Dr. Ashiru, thank you. Citizen, I think I want to throw the line of the last caller. I think our legislative arm of government, they are not doing Nigeria any good. They are not doing Nigeria any good in the sense that they were there to make a right law, to make everything work in this country. But what are they doing? They do nothing rather than fighting for their pocket. I didn't think that our legislative arm of government and make a law whereby it is a mandatory for any political office holder to send his or our children to public school in this country. I don't think our tertiary and secondary school and primary education will be in the way it is today. You see, citizen, in as much the system remains the way it is, if you like, go and bring the Jesus or Muhammad, that case may be, to come and govern this country, the education will remain the way it is. Because we need a right law whereby if you are a political office holder, your children must attend the school that my children go to. Because all these people, they even have their own tertiary institution, as case may be. If you as a political office holder, if you can have university by yourself, how could you make ordinary citizens go to a normal school that you are make sure that it is low quality? Because you are there to protect your own personal interest. In order for your own personal school to be getting more candidates.
Okay.
I want to put a question to lecture in the studio. The question is this. Every time the ASUU, NASU, or whatever go to strike, what is the Uni-Ilorin, what are they doing differently that does not make them to join the ASUU on the strike? Because it seems to be that there is something they are doing rightly, because the outfit children are now moving to Ilorin now because they know they are not going to go on strike, but they are doing something right than others who are not doing. What are those things that they are doing different from other universities? Thank you, and God bless you.
Yeah, Dr. Ashiru, are we in a country where it is difficult to be good?
How do you mean?
The man just talked about a Uni-Ilorin. What are they doing wrong or right?
That's a very interesting
Let's go from there.
You see, the Ilorin matter is historical. But what you find out is that when ASUU goes on strike, Uni Ilorin will not join the strike. When we are to, well, because the authorities there have coerced virtually everybody there.
That's your word?
Oh, I mean, these are verifiable.
No, it's your word.
It is, but they are verifiable. Now, when we eventually succeed...
Coerced who?
I say virtually everybody.
Including ASUU?
Of course, ASUU there there's a splinter group who calls itself ASUU. The ASUU that is recognized that is ASUU member, they dismissed them. They just came back. In fact, they have not even implemented the court, judgment that says reinstate them. So you need to understand the dynamics going on in Ilorin. But the point I'd like to make is that each time we go on strike, Ilorin will not join. But when all the when
Ilorin will participate.
Ilorin will get the lion's share.
Oh, really?
Of course.
Okay.
Even, let me, I'd like to make one
maybe,
point.
No, there's a call from Oguni is in Ibadan, and we want to welcome him. Welcome, sir. Brother Oguni, let's go.
Good morning, sir.
I greet you.
I really want to talk about the issue between the federal government and ASUU. These people the ASUU people are not being sincere with Nigerians. We should ask them.
Oguni, by drawing, you are killing time. Let's go.
Okay.
You are speaking in slow motion. Okay.
How many of them are really using it? How many of them are really using it for the purpose of research grant? They are using the majority of this money, the majority of the grant, for buying cars and building houses. So there is no way, there is no federal government will be able to fund universities sufficiently. The ASUU and the university system should be innovative enough to do something to generate more money for them to be able to run their universities smoothly. They can't be collecting money and won't be accountable.
All right, we leave it there. Dr. Ashiru, you have 30 seconds to wind down.
Well, you see, I'd like to correct some impressions. It is not true that universities are not accountable. People who talk about accountability in the university either have no facts or are deliberately misapplying those facts. You talked about table water and bread as ventures for a university. It is the rot in the system that drives university into producing table water.
Which is wrong?
It is absolutely wrong. A university is not supposed to be involved in such frivolities. And when you talk about government not having money to fund education, you forget that this same government bailed out Skybank, 800 billion, unbudgeted. Between 1999 and today, government has spent 1.38 trillion bailing out failed banks owned by their friends and cronies. The National Assembly, according to Shehu Sani, gets 13-point-something million every month. And then to give...
Okay.
And then when you give budgetary allocations to universities...
I must stop you there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Look, I want us to go on strike against their institutions when they mismanage funds. I want us to highlight what the universities get, IGRO, EGRO, grants, and publish it to Nigerians to know what they use. I want us to point the projects. That is where we start from. But if this accountability is not there, you can't be going on political strike. This is political strike, I see it. It's a political strike because...
Your definition.
My 30 seconds, Jones.
No,
it's a political strike because
30 seconds
it's coming
up.
at a time when it shouldn't have come up.
And let's talk... Come on. Let
the university be properly run.
All right.
And I'm sure we'll be happy for it.
That's the punchline. Dr. Dele Ashiru, many thanks for coming.
Much. Thank you.
Wish you well.
Thank you.
And Alistair Wilcox, welcome and thank you for your submissions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, folks. You know, the common parlance is when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. But I dare say that when two elephants are engaged in a love tango, the same grass suffers. ASUU, federal government, there's a middle ground. Steer it. Bye-bye now.